Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, Dallas-Fort Worth is head of all networking groups, but there's one group that is about to burst on the scene. You're going to have to hear this story next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So I love networking. There's an old saying, you got to circulate to percolate. There's a lot of Gen Zs who are out there behind a computer, hooking up on LinkedIn, but they're not really making real connections. And that's what the art of networking is all about. Somebody who knows this very well is my next guest. Amy Bonanno is in the studio with Power Players Pro. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, you were telling me that you were a connector even as far back as you can remember, like high school.
Yeah. Yes, I think I've always had the gift of gab. And as I was saying, I just am the person that in the back of my mind, anytime I meet someone, I'm just thinking about who I can connect them with. So to help either build their business or just to, maybe match make.
and you have a very successful company that we're going to talk about in a minute, but you do a lot of networking. So tell us about Power Players Pro and how you're going to separate yourself from other groups.
So Power Players Pro was built around the idea that after COVID, I felt like we just weren't getting out and getting in front of people anymore, in a room with other people. There was a lot of networking happening through Zoom. There was a lot of virtual groups, but I just really want to bring back the idea of getting in small, very selective groups of people that could help empower each other to build their businesses. So that's where Power Players Pro kind of got the lift off. And then to really specify, we want to work with B2B professionals. So we're really looking for more of the sales or business development type individual that is working with other businesses.
Yes. Okay, hold that thought. We're going to talk about your for-profit company that you run with your husband, who's been on our show before, Simple Media. Let's go ahead and pull up the website. And as we scroll on the website, Amy, tell us about Simple Media.
Well, Simple Media, 17 years now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah. So my husband and I started this business 17 years ago, and we also got married 17 years ago. So that's kind of all we know. We've been together, and we've had this business, and we've been building websites, building out branding strategy. Simple Media is really on the cutting edge of emerging technologies. So a lot of our clients come to us with needs of being able to propel their brand to the next level, and we show them how to do that utilizing emerging technology.
And networking is a great way to build business.
Yes.
and build new connections.
Yes.
You guys created a little sizzle reel. Let's go ahead and roll a little bit of that, and I want you to kind of talk over it. Let's talk about the art of networking, because I've been to too many groups where the goal is to give away as many business cards as you can. And they're not thinking about the person they're talking to, they're just thinking about themselves. So you can't go into a networking experience being selfish, can you?
Correct. So that's exactly right. I feel like every time that you attend a networking event, you have to put yourself in a position of, I have to give first. So the mentality at Power Players is really to reinforce the methodology of I'll go first. So I come into the room ready to find someone there that I can make a connection with, that I can give a referral to, and not expect to walk out of there with a referral from someone else, but knowing that it's all going to come back around. And you're going to get back from it what you put into it. So that's the power of networking, is really you have to get out there, put yourself out there, and then you'll see the rewards later. And it happens all the time. I have so many examples of how that's worked for me.
Absolutely. And, there's a reputation for the Gen Zs that they're a texting generation and not a talking generation.
Mm-hmm.
So for the young person who is entering the business world right now, why is it so important that they get out there and shake hands and meet people?
It's really important because of relationships. Relationships are how people do business. People don't do business with people that they don't trust. And the idea that you can just get on a Zoom call and create a sale right away with somebody that you've never even sat in a room with and felt their energy and been able to understand anything about them beyond the title that they have on their card or on a Zoom call at the bottom of the screen is not enough. We have to be able to, as a community, get together and empower each other to be able to bring other opportunities into the group, but you only do that if you trust people. So it's all about relationship building for me, and I think that building strong relationships in a smaller, somewhat exclusive group like Power Players really puts people in a good position to rely on a little extra lead generation.
We've got some video from our library of networking opportunities, and I hear from people all the time saying, no, I'm kind of a wallflower, I'm not the life of the party, I can't network. But I would respectfully disagree. I think the best networkers are the best listeners.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And for me, a networking group, I'm not walking in a networking group to do business. I'm walking in a networking group to almost assess the people that are in the room and see who in there that I trust enough to give that referral to. Because chances of me walking into a room with 20, 30 people and me knowing someone that I need to connect them with are pretty high, because I feel like I'm a pretty connected person. I know a lot of people in the B2B market too, because I've been working there 17 years just with my business, but even before that, I was still working in B2B, smaller businesses. But I think that you have to be able to really put your listening ears. This is what I say to my kids: put your listening ears on and listen to what people are saying, both professionally and personally, and have a genuine interest.
Yes, and listen with your heart, because anything somebody says, there's a reason they said it. So if you're meeting somebody for the first time and they start to mention awards they've won, they're seeking praise, they're seeking validation. So you can't just have a networking opportunity where the person is talking and you're thinking about your next question. You have to listen with your heart. So talk about, I know you're a big energy person. When you're meeting somebody, you're on their planet, you're right there with them.
Well, it's funny. So I actually met my husband at a networking event.
So cool, so cool.
They actually call us the BNI Sweethearts.
I love that.
There used to be this group called BNI, and you guys have probably heard of it, and there may still be some chapters, but we were at a BNI group together. He saw me stand up and talk about T1s, which is not even anything that anybody cares about anymore because technology has changed so much, but he definitely was interested in T1s at that time. And so he asked me to have coffee with him, and we went and we sat down. And, the first 45 minutes of our coffee was just getting to know each other and getting to understand a little bit about our backgrounds. And what we found out very quickly was that we had a lot of similar interests. And I think that's what happens if you do listen, is you can very quickly figure out where your connection with that person could be. Even when you don't know them.
17 years later and 2 children.
Yeah, 17 years later, 2 children, yes.
It's worked out nicely. We are going to put a graphic up on the screen, because if you want to get involved, this is an upcoming event. Why don't you talk about this?
Yes, so our next Power Players event is on November 6th, and we're hosting it at the Herschel. One of our great members of Power Players, my friend AJ Fox, he has graciously offered to host it in his building. And we would love for you, if you are a B2B networker, you're working in sales, business development, you feel like that you could benefit from meeting more people that talk to the same people you do every day, and you're a relationship person, we'd love to see you there.
I love it. And so we're going to give you information on how to register here in a minute. But let's talk about some do's and don'ts, because a lot of people who aren't familiar with networking, they can go into a room and alienate the whole room. I call it the life insurance salesperson who works a room in the wrong way, and everybody suddenly doesn't want to talk to them.
Right.
So what are some do's and don'ts of networking?
Yeah. Well, I think that, it just has to be very organic,
Right.
Like, it can't just be like the speed dating,
Right.
It can't be like that. You have to actually, introduce yourself. You can say what company you work for, but, you really want to talk to this person, get to know them a little bit, and give them time to tell you about them, because if you give them the floor, they will talk about themselves. And I think that's what you want. You want them to talk about themselves, because then you have more information to do with what you need to do to connect them to somebody, because the goal is that you, at some point that night, find someone that you can connect later.
Sure. And I think one of the reasons you started Power Players Pro is because you wanted a different networking experience. So it's not going to be 500 people in the room.
No.
Talk about kind of the intimate setting that you're creating.
Yeah. So I call it exclusive representation because, we're not going to have 3 or 4 real estate agents in the room. What we want to do is we want to build a group of people that can almost form little pods of networking together. And so I'm looking for, a good business attorney. I'm looking for a commercial real estate agent. I'm looking for a business consultant. I don't need 3 of them. We only really need 1, and we're looking for those people right now because I've had a lot of people interested and come to 1 or 2, but I'm really only interested in the people that are actually going to put in the time and are going to adopt that mentality of I'll go first.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and you are such a giver. So in the short time that Amy and I have known each other, she's already connected me to a bunch of people. So you are a giver, and that's who you're signing up with. So Amy, in the last minute or so, why don't you look into the camera on the left and talk to that potential networker who doesn't know that he or she has the skills to network and why they need to step out there.
Well, even if you feel like you don't have the skills to network, networking is conversation. You just need to be able to walk up to somebody that you don't know and start a conversation. And sometimes that conversation is started around, what are you wearing? Sometimes it's, I smell your perfume. But I think that you just have to be very genuine. And I think that's where the people who are really great networkers are successful, is they aren't here's my business card, here's my business card, here's my business card people. They are people that actually spend a few minutes with you. Actually, I don't want your business card if I didn't meet you, because that doesn't do me any good. I'll meet you another time. I want your business card if I met you, because then I'm going to invite you to coffee, because my rule is that after I meet you, we're going to sit down for coffee or for a call within a week.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. Amy, we're going to end with the website so you can sign up for her next mixer. It's powerplayers.pro. The great Amy Bonanno. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.